Welcome to News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'm here in Anaheim covering the debut of Walt Disney: A Magical Life and the first ever Walt Disney Audio-Animatronics character. Now, I'm back at the hotel after having seen the show. I'm not going to give you my thoughts now because as soon as I finish recording the news for today, I'm going to sit and record my honest review of the show. So stay tuned for more information on that, although we will talk about the basics, no spoilers, in the news today in just a few moments. So coming up in a few moments, the news for July 14th, 2025. But real quick, I got to mention Tampa Bay Comic Con is a real big thing for us coming up. The event is August 1st through the 3rd of 2025. I'm going to use my cheat sheet a little. I don't have a teleprompter here because we're on the road, so bear with me here. Also, the fridge just made noise in my hotel room. But yeah, the 1st through the 3rd, I'm going to be a part of the Disney Parks YouTube Super Panel. That's Saturday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. in Ballroom D. Also, our good friends and former Imagineers Paul Osterhout and Jason Sorrell are going to be joining me for 2 panel discussions on Saturday. The first panel is 2 p.m. and it's called Designing for Superfans: The Secret Language of Immersive Worlds. The second panel will be at 7 p.m. and is called The Hero's Journey in Ride Form. And both of those panels also in Ballroom D. I'm going to be very busy in Ballroom D all weekend. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be hosting a conversation with Linda Larkin. Linda is the voice of Jasmine from Disney's Aladdin, which I'm very, very excited about. Our team will also be there all 3 days, myself included, on the exhibitor floor when I'm not presenting. You can find us at booth 1016. That's 1016. You can stop by and say hi. We'll also have all the carousel products and merchandise for sale. We may, I'm going to knock on wood, have some exciting new stuff for sale. First opportunity will be there at the event. And I will tell you, we have developed 3 special giveaways, one for each day, a limited edition of 1,000 each. So you might want to hurry over to our booth all 3 days. Something very cool and exclusive and special. And that'll be a free giveaway. So make sure you come find us if you're going to be there. Also, both Paul and Jason will be hanging out at our booth on Saturday, signing stuff. And on Sunday, Paul Osterhout will be there to sign some of those lithographs we sell of whether it's New Tomorrowland or MuppetVision, both projects he was instrumental in delivering. But it's a big deal for us. I think it's going to be a fun time, something different. And you can get information at TampaBayComicCon.com. And, of course, use our special code to get a discount on tickets. But with that out of the way, I'm going to move on in my little script here and talk to you about Walt Disney: A Magical Life. Disney shared their first look at the attraction today. We're also sharing our first look. You're going to see today, you're going to see 30 seconds. We're allowed to share 30 seconds of footage with you, and you're going to see what I shared on X earlier today while I talk about this story. The new show will open to all guests later this week on Thursday, July 17th, the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. The show utilizes archival voice recordings to have Walt tell his story to guests in his own words. The figure itself is modeled after how Walt would have appeared around 1963. This time in his life was chosen due to the many exciting projects he had in development, such as Mary Poppins, the New York World's Fair, and planning for his secret Florida project. Walt's attire for the show was carefully researched and crafted, including his suit, shoes, tie, and rings, and Imagineers were even able to build exact copies of his hands thanks to the discovery of a bronze mold at the Walt Disney Family Museum. I'm not going to talk too much about this because, again, sometime either tonight or tomorrow you're going to see a honest review of this show, hopefully tonight, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So if you want more details, it'll be there. In the meantime, though, just want to let you know that Disney has released footage. They've released they've released photographs as well. Yeah. And then beyond that, the Main Street Opera House exhibit, we got a preview of The Evolution of a Dream. This is available in full on our channel right now. You can take a 15-minute walking tour. If you'd rather look at it in photographs, which sometimes museum exhibits show better in photography because you can actually stop at each photo and investigate. That's available at WDWNT.com if you want to go photo by photo through there. That being said, we didn't have hours in the exhibit space, so I don't know that Eric took a photo of every single last piece of art up close, but at least the most interesting, the newest, and some of the coolest displays as part of this exhibit are all in that tour. Again, you can watch it here on the channel or go through the photos at WDWNT.com. Heading over to the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, crews have installed more construction walls plus scrim and scaffolding around the rivers of America in the Magic Kingdom. Initially, there were just a few walls next to Riverboat Landing in Liberty Square. The exit ramp on the left when facing the landing was still visible. Now there are walls running along the ramp. There is a door in the walls at the end of the ramp for crew member access. Another set of walls then wraps around the corner towards the Frontierland Pier. There's still a walkway open between the walls and the nearby planter, and the Frontierland Pier is also still open for walking. From the Frontierland Pier, we can see behind these white walls. There aren't any visible signs of demolition or construction right now, but the Riverboat Landing dock is it's still intact. There are also walls along the Riverfront Landing exit ramp to the right, where the extended queue of the Haunted Mansion runs. There were some walls in this area a week ago, but they have significantly increased now. In the proper queue of the Haunted Mansion, beige scrim hangs over the fencing along the river. From across the river, we can see the other side of the scrim. It's supported by black poles embedded in the rock and reaching up to the top of the queue's green shade. And there's scaffolding in front of the rock wall behind the scrim, and there are spray-painted markings on the rock wall. It also appears in this area that the water level of the rivers of America has gone down, so maybe the draining has begun. The white Liberty Square construction walls are decorated, meanwhile, with PPG Paints branded signs featuring patriotic and Haunted Mansion quotes, such as "Patriotism swells in the heart of the American bear" from Fozzie Bear, "Welcome, foolish mortals" for the Haunted Mansion, "Laughter is America's most important export," said Walt Disney, and "Tomorrow will be better for as long as America keeps alive the ideals of freedom and a better life," also a Walt Disney quote. On Tom Sawyer Island, we saw construction workers at Tom's Landing again. They appeared to be dismantling set pieces. Props are tagged for removal and or destruction. We're going to assume just removal at this point. Multiple crew members were working on ladders, possibly pulling down the props from the rafters of the landing. And another crew member was driving a boat to Tom's Landing to deliver supplies or maybe take props back across the river. At the opposite end of Frontierland from Liberty Square and the Riverboat Landing, the brown construction walls run along this bridge in front of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The walls continue towards Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is currently closed for a major refurbishment. They connect to the construction walls across from the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad exit. The bridge and walkways in this area are still open, with the walls just partially blocking the views of the river and Tom Sawyer Island. There are also brown construction walls blocking the entrance and exit of the Frontierland Railroad Station, which is closed, while the Cars area and the Villains Land are under construction for the next several years, but the train is running in shuttle mode, as you know. The station will reopen and full operations will return when all that work is complete. Meanwhile, just want to mention, if you're wondering where the rafts are and where the riverboat is, our good friend BioReconstruct on X shared photos of the Liberty Square riverboat and those rafts parked in a service canal towards the back of the Magic Kingdom. So they're still there, at least for the moment. Another date for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party 2025 at the Magic Kingdom is now sold out. August 19th is the second party to sell out this year. The first would be Halloween night, which sold out just hours after ticket sales opened, which is pretty normal. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party will begin on August 15th, so it's interesting that August 19th is the sellout. Usually that first night will typically be the second sellout of the season, if not something close to Halloween will be that second sellout. But in particular, August 19th is the date, weirdly enough. But again, as we always advise, get your tickets before they're gone. You never know when any date is going to sell out. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Whether you're planning a trip for the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts, aboard the Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, or whatever, make it their problem, is what I always say. It's the easiest and best way. And of course, their concierge services are 100% free. Everyone in the hotel didn't say it. I'm very sad. Either way, check them out at www.nt.travel today. Annual pass holder previews of Test Track at Epcot began on Sunday, and they are continuing through next weekend. And of course, they're using a virtual queue system for those previews. And on Sunday, this will surprise no one, those virtual queues were gone in seconds. In fact, I was one of the people that tried. I still haven't been on it. I missed the media preview because I was in Hong Kong, which isn't a complaint. It's a first world problem for sure. And then I think I was still away for most of the cast previews, and I thought, oh, I'll just I can squeak in this one AP preview before. No, they were gone in seconds. And the usual problems, this was kind of like, I got to relive the PTSD of like Rise of the Resistance, because that's the one that was always the biggest problem. I don't think I ever missed a virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy, even when they were hard to get. But Rise happened a couple times, and we went back to those old problems, right, where some people's app crashed, some people got a red error, some people got a non-red error, some people, like, it just didn't work. You know, all the usual problems of virtual queues reappeared for pass holders. We all got to relive that nightmare again. I just want to reiterate this, and I know there's people in operations at Walt Disney World who will just be like, he doesn't know anything, blah, blah, blah. Your guests hate this, and please stop. Please just stop. If you don't think you can handle all the pass holders in the park that day for a preview, then don't let them all in that day. Or go back to what you used to do before, the pre-registration system online, or you can give people a couple dates to enter for a lottery, and then they know in advance if they got in or not. But either way, any of those things would be better than essentially playing the live lottery the day of our visit to Epcot, having to make a park pass, and you don't have to be in the park for either the 7 a.m. or the 1 p.m. drop, but what a mess. And I'm not just saying that because I didn't get one, I'm saying it because we've lived with this long enough, and it was a godsend when Disney World finally took away the last few virtual queues in Tron and Guardians. And to bring this back for anything is a mistake. This system should never be implemented ever again. It is the worst thing that was ever, Rise of the Resistance in particular, was the worst experience I've ever seen perpetrated on a Disney Parks guest in the 70-year history of Disney Parks. It's just not a good show. Lottery, there's a million things. Number one, you could just build rides with capacity, and then, you know, you just let the queue manage itself, which, you know, Fantasy Springs, they finally went to standby line for attractions, and Frozen is regularly 300 minutes now. But you can be the master of your destiny. You can decide, okay, I'll wait 300 minutes or I won't. And I'm sure pass holders, if you had put a 200-minute wait at the first day of Test Track pass holder previews, people would have decided, you know what, I'll wait, or they'd get in the line. Let them decide. Either way, this is nonsense and should never happen again. And it will surprise you. It will surprise no one to know that today, Monday, was more of the same, that they were gone instantly, not seconds, instantly, less than a second, they were gone. So those are my 2 cents on boarding group. Still the dumbest thing in Disney Parks history, and I can't think of a single thing I think is worse. And I know people will bring up the closing of Rivers of America, closing of MuppetVision, getting rid of Figment, blah, blah, blah. Those are giant mistakes, but something that has affected nearly every guest in the modern age. Everyone has fought that system and lost at some point and had their day ruined by it. So I think it's worse. I think it's way worse. Speaking of MuppetVision 3D, our friend BioReconstruct on X posted photos of the current state of the former Muppets courtyard as it becomes the Monsters, Inc. land. A lot of work still being done on just the ground at this point. They're still peeling up all that brickwork that made up the walkway. They seem to be doing it very deliberately, so I'm not sure if they're keeping the bricks or what the story is. I'm not a construction expert despite doing this for 18 years. But it does seem very deliberate how slowly and methodically they're peeling up the pavement and leaving some portions of it, although I guess maybe they're going to fill between that. I don't know. Either way, a lot of work happening on the ground outside of the Stage 1 company store, or some people just call it the Muppet store, that was out in the middle of that area. Of course, as we know, according to concept art, that store is going to be demolished to make way for the main thoroughfare and the gardens that will lead guests to the Monsters, Inc. door coaster when that is completed. But work has begun. It's underway. It's weird to say. Like, the removal of MuppetVision and the Muppets courtyard is well underway. And I know I don't feel that Rivers of America, I've said a million times, felt inevitable. to me. It just always felt that at the Magic Kingdom in that particular park, just always felt like, man, this is the most visited park in the world. They're going to have to do something here that accommodates more guests. But I don't know, Muppets never felt like a thing that would go away. And so it's weird. It's weird to talk about it becoming, and Monsters Inc. It's a weird story to read for me. Sticking with Monsters Inc., a new Monsters Inc. headband was released at Hollywood Studios to begin the countdown to the inevitable opening of its land. It was released in limited quantities for some reason. It was $34.99. We got the ears at Once Upon a Time on Sunset Boulevard, but they were the last in the park. And according to cast members, very few pairs were available. We don't know when this is going to get back in stock. Maybe it was released early by accident. We know there was a Hollywood Studios Halloween shirt featuring Monsters Inc. So maybe this is related to that. Maybe there's a Halloween line of merchandise just for studios featuring Monsters Inc. on the way. And some of it's come out early, some of it hasn't. We'll have to wait and see. But the headband has a lavender terry cloth-like bow with 2 eyes and twine hair, which is meant to be Boo. And one of the ears is a green fuzzy ball with horns representing Mike. The other is blue with purple dots and horns representing Sully. The actual headband is blue on the exterior and green on the interior, matching each monster ear. Sticking with MuppetVision 3D, we're staying in the Monsters Inc. and MuppetVision section of the show. Chairman of the Jim Henson Company and son of Jim Henson, Brian Henson, spoke about MuppetVision 3D in a recent interview with Theater Mania. The interview wasn't focused on the attraction as much as it was his father's legacy, but the interview asked what many fans have been wondering, is MuppetVision 3D gone from the parks for good? And Henson's response was non-committal, likely to avoid giving a firm yes or no on paper. He told the outlet that they wrapped it up the way Disney does, where everything is recorded for historical purposes and all the animatronics are packed away perfectly. So theoretically, they could bring it back out if they wanted to at some point. From the get-go, they designed it so that 500 people could go through every 25 minutes. It was one of the most highly experienced attractions, I think, that Disney ever made, and I was very sad to see it getting wrapped up. And we know Brian has seen that. The word on the street has been the Jim Henson Company was offered a lot, pretty much their pick of things in the attraction, because when the attraction was developed, as you probably learned if you watched our event for the closure, Glorious 3-day finale, the Imagineers said they were allowed free run of the Henson archives, which were then located in New York, to take whatever they needed for the pre-show and beyond. And so I think it only felt fair for Disney to be like, hey, do you want to come pick what you'd like back, or what you'd like to take from the attraction? So we know Brian has likely, I don't know that he flew to Orlando. I don't think that happened. I'm sure someone sent him photos or video, but I think a contingent of the Jim Henson Company came to MuppetVision and took what the company wanted. And so that's why Brian knows the current state of the packing and removal of the animatronics and things like that. Of course, Disney has previously stated that the film has been recorded in its entirety and may find a new home. Whether they mean that's in the parks or on Disney Plus remains to be seen. A previous statement from the Jim Henson Company revealed they were in discussions with Disney to bring the film to virtual reality. Again, no updates on that yet, but MuppetVision 3D closed just over a month ago on June 7th, 2025, and as we just talked about, it's being transformed into that Monsters Inc. land. It's especially important because this project was one of the last things Jim Henson worked on before his death in 1990, and it opened in May of 1991. Continuing our strain of interconnected, related stories, the Muppets, of course, eventually will take over Rock and Roller Coaster, but what may be the very last line of Rock and Roller Coaster exclusive merchandise has been released. We found the items in the Rock and Roller Coaster gift shop, Rock Around the Shop as it's called. There's a glow-in-the-dark t-shirt for $34.99, a cut-sleeve t-shirt for $34.99, an adult tank top is $27.99, and the Rock and Roller Coaster keychain is $14.99. I'm going to take a wild guess that this is not the complete line, that more is coming, and we've been seeing this a lot lately. All of the individual attractions at Walt Disney World, the headliners, have been getting new attraction-specific items. We saw it at Everest. Dinosaur had its weird little farewell line that came out that's mostly sold out now. What else? I've talked about a couple other ones lately. I can't think of the other ones. But there's been several. Mansion, obviously Mansion just got what feels like hundreds of new items, and Pirates of the Caribbean just got new items as well. So it seems right now all the attractions are getting updated merchandise lines, and Rock and Roller Coaster, despite only having so much time left to live, we know early next year. We don't know a date for when that's closing to be converted to Muppets in theme. But we're close enough to the end that it's weird that a giant merchandise collection has come out, which doesn't feel like a farewell collection, but in fairness, Rock and Roller Coaster has more consistently received new merchandise through the years than Dinosaur ever has. Dinosaur has been on the rare side for a long time. Speaking of that new attraction merchandise, Fantasmic has a new hoodie available at Hollywood Studios. A version of this has been released here at the Disneyland Resort, but ours is different in Florida. This is $69.99. We also found this at Once Upon a Time on Sunset Boulevard. The hoodie features the Fantasmic logo on the front with Sorcerer Mickey surrounded by stars and fireworks. The hoodie art glows in the dark. Hollywood Studios is written down the sleeve in red screen printing. Sorcerer Mickey, Ariel, Belle, Ursula, the Evil Queen, the Magic Mirror, Tinkerbell, Chernabog, and Maleficent's dragon in her dragon form are among the characters represented on the back of the sweatshirt, which the Disneyland version leaves the dragon off because they don't currently have it, so they're pretty different. I think this is one of those weird things where I want to buy both because I think it's cool that they're slightly different, and it captures a particular moment in time. Yeah, so there you go. There's also a matching magic band that has been released at both resorts as well. The latest intergalactic creature plush to arrive at Walt Disney World is a Merqaal, as seen in Star Wars Outlaws. And let people send their angry messages now that I'm mispronouncing the name of this creature. We found the Merqaal plush, if you want to call it that, inside the creature stall in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at the studios for $54.99. It's a fluffy creature known for having sharp teeth and claws despite its otherwise cute appearance. And as described on the tag that comes with the creature, it's an omnivore with no listed home planet. And again, from the Star Wars Outlaws video game is where most people will know this creature. The plush includes a section for batteries, which are inserted into a pack that is hidden in the belly. The Merqaal, according to Star Wars lore, has a combination of fluffy fur and hard scales, and the toy is definitely representative of that. While it's similar to a plush, the creature can perform several actions once batteries are inserted. As illustrated for us by a cast member, the Merqaal will blink its eyes and make sounds. The jaw has a spring that allows it to snap open and shut as though it's attempting to bite you. And while the ears and legs are not battery operated, they are all posable, so you can place the Merqaal's features in different positions. But this is a pretty cool plush. I don't even want to call it a plush. Interactive Star Wars creature. This is neat. You've heard us talking about renting DVC points through our friends at DVCRentalStore.com, but if you've rented points and gotten a taste of the DVC lifestyle of a Walt Disney World vacation, you might be thinking it's time to jump in and join the club. But did you know you don't have to pay the price Disney charges for a DVC membership? You can save thousands of dollars when you buy resale contracts. Contact our friends at DVC Resale Market to find out how much you can save. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/WDWNT for more information. Of course, I've talked about it several times. This is how I joined Disney Vacation Club. We bought at the Polynesian for, I think, about 50% off, which was great. For the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, we stayed in a bungalow at the Polynesian, which was a once-in-a-lifetime incredible thing. But that's what this allows you to do. There are, I'm not the biggest fan of the newer DVC resorts, but at any of the ones before the last couple of years, there are some of the most incredible hotel rooms I've ever stayed in, grand villas, things like that. And this makes it more attainable. So I think it's a great way. If you want to have that guarantee every year that every year you can do something, every other year even, something memorable like a grand villa or a bungalow or anything like that. This is the best way to do it and the way I personally have done it, even before they were a sponsor of our company. 3 new Amphicar-inspired duck sippers are available at the Boathouse in Disney Springs. The Duck Duck Raz is a popular, very, very well-known alcoholic drink from the Boathouse. These new Souvenir Amphicar-inspired sippers can be purchased with the beverage for $22 or without for $20. Yeah, at that price, I think I'll take the cocktail. The Duck Duck Raz drink is typically served in a glass with a rubber duck floating atop the beverage, inspiring this new combo. The vintage Amphicar attraction, which inspired the new Souvenir, is available at Disney Springs next to the Boathouse. Guests can take a 20-minute guided tour on the waters of Lake Buena Vista while riding in a vintage amphicar, a rare amphibious vehicle that can drive on land and float on water. Reservations for the cars can only be made in person at the dock podium or inside the Boathouse Boutique, the gift shop. The zipper is clear plastic with the Boathouse logo, and each of the cars has white painted details matching those of an actual amphicar, and each looks to be sailing through the water. This is very cool. I love souvenir cups. You guys know this. You've been watching the show for years. You know I have actually thousands of souvenir cups. This is a pretty great one. We're on a roll right now. There's been some good ones. Between the Swan and Dolphin and this, I'm loving these. Disney's Polynesian Village Resort is now carrying new merchandise themed to Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. It's being sold in boutique, as you might imagine. There's a short sleeve button-up for $64.99. A pullover sweatshirt is $49.99. There's a t-shirt for $34.99, a bottle opener for $12.99, and a set of coasters for $27.99. Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland Paris is reopening from a nice little refurbishment, and this is a cool thing. They've shared some details on exactly what they did during this project. The refurbishment lasted from June 23rd through July 11th of this year, not very long, but among the refreshed props are the pigs from the iconic town scene and several apples, which were recreated from scratch after going missing from locations around the attraction. How did the apples go missing? Who knows? Designers compared the appearance of the attraction to the original design sketches and images to figure out where the missing props were supposed to be located. And although oxymoronic, new dust has been added to the attraction, along with other updates to the lighting, animatronics, and special effects. The post included a behind-the-scenes look at a few of the processes that make the attraction look renewed. New and returning costume pieces have also been refreshed, including the most beautiful hat for Pirate Red, which is one of the last real leather hats in the attraction. The cast members mentioned that since it's made of leather, the hat must be cared for in a specific way to keep it from showing wear. A new blue bandana inspired by a design from Marc Davis, one of the original Imagineers on Pirates of the Caribbean, has also been added to one of the animatronics. This is great. I'd love to know every time there's a couple week-long refurbishment, I think it would be tremendous if any Disney park to just show us what you're doing. As fans, it's really cool to see behind the curtain of even just a was it even 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks? I don't know what it was. It wasn't very long. But it's cool to see these little things. It's nice that they're shared, and it's nice to know the love and care that goes into our favorite attractions. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on your favorite social media platform. You can support this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. It's a great way to support us by also getting special discounts, early access to things, and more. You can join at patreon.com/WDWNT. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today, and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.